The worst horror movie I ever saw was fucking great.
Hello and welcome to This May Hurt a Bit. My name is James Strayer and this is
John C. Myers.
And we are a horror franchise podcast discussing each film in horror franchises. And today we are wrapping up all of our chats on the Sleepaway Camp series. But first and most importantly, we have a special guest. He is a fan and a scholar of the Sleepaway Camp series, so much so that he wrote fan fiction as a teen. This is Matthew Wynn. Welcome to the show, Matthew.
Hey, thanks to be here. And hey, this is way back before fan fiction was such a dirty thing.
Yeah,
It was cool.
Yeah, slasher fiction, I suppose you could say. But
right.
Yeah. Started off. You started off. You don't have to get into the plot of it yet, but we'll save that for later because we're definitely curious about the fan fiction. But what has been your history with this series, and what kind of drew you to it in the first place, culminating in said fan fiction?
Well, I've always been a fan of horror movies from an inappropriately young age because my parents generally didn't monitor what I was watching. So really got into Sleepaway Camp because as sort of a nonconformist, I was really into that because, everyone knew the Jasons and the Freddys, but, Sleepaway was a little less familiar, and it was always great to show people that for the first time.
Horror fans like to, well, I mean, a lot of people, but especially horror fans do tend to like to not just like one up each other, but it's just like, oh, have you heard of this one? Have you heard of this one?
Right.
So,
if you like that, you'll like this, you know.
Yeah. Especially like, a little bit ago before the internet. I'm sure it was more fun to pull that out.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything in particular that drew you to it beyond just the, I guess, rarity of it?
I was a bit of a Camp to Be as a kid, Boy Scouts, so I had a little bit of a real world experience, knowing what an actual outhouse is like.
Right.
Yeah, I've pooped outside.
Yes.
Yeah, so like the camp, the familiar territory of camp spoke to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Have we even talked about our camp experiences at all on the show? Like, I only went to a few. I went to a pretty decent, like, not Bible thumpy style at all, but like I went to a church camp a few summers in a row, and that was perfectly fine. Like, I didn't have a problem with it, but no Angela killers on the loose.
Yeah, no, I just went to day camp as a kid. Shout out Camp Pocomoke. I don't think it exists anymore. But then I was in the Cub Scouts, and then I joined the Boy Scouts. And the first camping trip was a week-long overnight camping trip, and I went, no, I hate this. And no killer Angelas, but lots of mosquitoes. And I just went, nah, I'm good.
You were an indoor kid from early on.
Yes, very much so.
So, do you have a favorite of the series, Matthew?
That definitely would be part 2, which I think is the general consensus. And
you like part 2 better than part 1?
Yeah, especially when I was younger, I just thought part 1. I mean, it was fun, but it was a little just grimy and maybe a little too serious.
Sure, I can definitely see like when you're younger, like part 2 would just be more fun. Like, it's more comedic. It's straight ahead, like goofier.
Oh yeah,
got a lot more energy to it than the first one.
So is that the film that you based your fan fiction on when you were a kid?
It's more of a direct sequel to 3, so just basically the continuation of 2, 3, then mine. Please
tell me that you still have these manuscripts.
You know how you're always as a content creator, you always kind of cringe at your early content. Unfortunately, about 2002 or so, I just kind of threw it all away because it was like, I don't want to look like I'm a serial killer or anything like that. Right. You don't want the wife to find it. Just murder after murder.
Yeah, it's in a folder labeled "I can explain."
Right. Yes, when you grow up, you put away childish things, and those things are early Sleepaway Camp sequels. Were they scripts or were they written in prose style?
Just prose style, essentially like a novel. I've always been a story writer since about 3rd grade.
Nice. So you kind of glommed onto that. Did you read any of them in class?
No.
No. Yes, that would have dictated a trip to the office, I believe.
Now, your sequel to 3, we don't have to get into it too much, but I do want to know, was your sequel to 3 just someone at a camp remembering stuff that happened in the previous 2 movies?
No, it was more of a 3.5, literally picking up right after 3 left off.
I was going to say, because otherwise you might have a lawsuit on your hands. That could maybe work.
Right. Well, yeah, like as we kind of get into the end of this series, it was kind of fun to think back on, as we tend to do here, like which ones we would watch again, favorite kills, that kind of stuff. I mean, we can kind of start with, and I think I know what this is going to be for all of us, although it might be different for you, Matthew, but which order would you watch these in again, or which ones would you actually revisit? Because for me, like, I would definitely watch part 1 again. Part 2, I would probably go back to. Not so sure about 3, or definitely not 4 and 5.
I definitely gained a greater appreciation for part 1 because in February, Felissa Rose came to town to do a live commentary on part 1.
That was at Clinton Street?
Correct.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, same place where I accosted you in front of, demanding to be on the show.
Oh, yes. Right. At the Portland Horror Film Festival last year. Yes. What was that event like? Did she, so she like spoke over the film the entire time, just telling anecdotes?
Mm-hmm. Which must have been incredibly frustrating for the few people in the audience who've actually never seen the movie before.
I mean, why go to that
Yeah.
type of thing? Yeah. Was there like 1 or 2 like standout moments for her that she was talking about that stood out to you?
It was just interesting to hear more from the crowd how, the movie initially was seen as very negative towards the trans community, but over the years, it's really kind of turned the corner, and how many trans people in the crowd talked about how they kind of saw her as a hero, stand up against the bullying.
That's cool. And that's something I find very fascinating, is that those conflicting views on it, that there are people that see her story as sort of a more revenge tale and the sort of liberatory thing, versus the some that view it as very offensive and terrible.
Yeah, and I can see either side.
Sure, yeah, I think it's a worthwhile conversation to have.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the funny things about her reveal at the end of Return was, she seemed very manic and crazy, but that's actually kind of how she was in real life. So it's like wasn't necessarily just very. Just very high energy. Yeah,
I get the sense from interviews I've seen with her. She seems like a lot of fun to be around.
Mm-hmm. Did she take photos with everybody who came there and do the big face at the end?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's definitely got that down pat.
Yep. I think she's been doing that at fan conventions for years now. So good on her. And it's one of those things we always like to trumpet people being working actors, and I hope she makes a living from going to fan conventions at this point.
Yeah, I'll have to post my picture. I just look incredibly schlumpy in my after work vest.
Yeah, well,
sure. I mean, those are fan photos, man.
So after 1 and 2, do you have a preference, or do they all just sort of like fall by the wayside for you?
I mean, 3's there, and Return, a lot of screaming.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what the trailer promised, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For sure.
Promises kept.
What about you, John?
Definitely, yeah. 1 and I would watch 2 again, because I thought 2 was fun. I mean, 2 is definitely much more of like a lighthearted thing, not a serious tent my fingers and watch. But after that, yeah, maybe 3, but 4 and 5, 4 and the Return I like as kind of curios, but I'm not necessarily like the behind the scenes stuff. I'm sort of interested in that concept that they're like, that they basically came out of love for the series, doing this after Hellraiser, where just the IP or the title, whatever you want to call it, was just attached to so much nonsense just to try to squeeze any last drop of money you could make from that title. This was like, no, we just want to see more of of Angela, of this series. And so I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think that, the end products, not my favorite, but I like that they did that.
Yeah. I mean, especially these movies are certainly made by people who love what they're doing, and not made by a giant conglomerate who's trying to hold on to the rights.
Right. Yeah.
Until who knows what. But yeah, it would be hard. I agree. I like all the behind the scenes of those. And, I guess they've been working on a documentary about the series for a very long time now. So that's the kind of stuff that I will enjoy watching in the documentary.
Yeah.
The story of getting 4 and 5 off the ground, not so much rewatching them as films themselves.
The part 1 gets a lot of the focus, obviously, as many of the first films in these franchises do. But like I was fascinated reading some of the stuff behind part 2, just because it was such a departure and it was so different from what they were doing. And like finding out that it really was designed as a comedy, and that, I don't know, I really like Pamela Springsteen in it. I think she was a lot of fun. So I hope she shows up in that documentary.
Oh, we got that new Bruce Springsteen documentary coming up. I wonder if she's going to be in it too. Who's going to protect her in the biopic?
You know, anybody who goes, we can all be the Leo DiCaprio, like leaning forward and pointing and being like, we know what she's.
Yeah, the movie was pretty good, but it didn't talk about Sleepaway Camp enough and his reaction to it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I was thinking how, you know, because none of the movies were like box office bonanzas, that probably is what's kept studios from doing any cash grabs for it.
With the remake everything, I'm surprised it hasn't come back yet. And with that element of the conversation around gender there, that being sort of a hot button issue, I think that's part of the reason that behind a movie like They, Them, which we talked about, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more to come. I mean, there was aborted another movie that Hiltzik wanted to make that never happened. He was talking about it called like Sleepaway Camp Berserk. Nothing ever came of. And then Felissa Rose in 2020 said that there was a sixth one was going to be happening, but nothing ever came of that.
Do you think that we would even be talking about these movies as sequels and as a franchise without the ending of part one? Like if it just had like kind of a more rote ending, she decapitates him, there's not the twist that everybody loves. Do you think it would have even gotten a sequel, or we'd even be talking about it? Because
ultimately, what would have differentiated it from, you know, so many of the slasher films at the time?
Yeah. No, I think it would have just been an also ran. Even more so than it really is compared to like even something like The Burning. Yeah. But I think, that really separates it, which is something that I don't think Hiltzik fully grasped in The Return, is that's what it was. I mean, the bullying ties into all that as well, but I think just trying to retell that story wasn't as interesting without that element to it.
Speaking of The Burning, that's a movie that could require a prequel. You know, what did that guy do to annoy the campers so much?
It's just nothing. It's just like he made me like do my chores at camp. Yeah. Let's set him on fire.
Right. I mean, part one also has, and we talked about it during the episode, but like that weird uncanniness to it, that weird lightning in a bottle. Well, I don't want to use weirdness again, but there's something off about that movie that makes it fun to watch that I don't think that you could recapture completely. And maybe that goes to show, well, gosh, that and Aunt Martha, you know, so that's a whole other realm. So maybe it would have gotten sequels without the big ending, because there are those just genuinely strange other things in the film. I mean, there was enough that they made 2 and 3, but it seemed like they were uninterested in pursuing whatever vision Robert Hiltzik had. Yeah.
It could have been just that too, is that clash between the creative side of things and the money side of things.
Right. Do we have a favorite side character? Like if we couldn't go, you know, Angela or, you know, either in part 1 or 2 and 3, whichever version you go for, do we have a favorite side character? I would have to go with Aunt Martha, or maybe Judy. I mean, Judy's pretty great too. She wears a t-shirt with her own name on it.
Right. Aunt Martha is probably my favorite in the first one. In the second one, I don't want to see more of him. I think he's correctly used, but that one kid that he's part of the tit patrol.
Yes.
But he's like always, he's the one in the campfire at the beginning. That's like, I heard she's either dead or on Facts of Life.
Yeah. Right.
That bit. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And then of course, Aunt Martha just begs cosplay.
Oh my God. Yeah. Was anybody dressed up at the show in February?
Not that I noticed.
Oh man, what a missed opportunity there.
Yes, yeah. Some guy showed up nude with a head, but he wasn't let in.
Right. Do you have a favorite secondary character, Matthew?
I can't think of why I'm drawing a blank there, but
because all the other kids just sort of like run around and yell, obviously. Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to like. Well, I mean, what's his name from part 1? Eat shit and live. Ricky. I mean, we can go with him too. I mean, he's almost a protagonist.
I love Ricky's anger issues.
But anybody who comes up with dialogue like that, I can go for.
Did you guys ever see Insidious Chapter 2?
No, I think I've only seen the first one. We're planning. I think that's on the list of stuff to watch.
I think I've seen the other ones, but I couldn't tell you a single thing about them.
So a minor spoiler alert for that. But
by all means,
something that was always on my mind. In part 2, it gets revealed that the ghost, who's an old lady in a veil, you find out was a boy, grew up as a boy, and had a crazy mother who forced him to dress as a girl.
Oh.
So with the show, I was able to ask Felissa, is that an homage or is that a ripoff? And she confirmed saying, oh, no, James Wan, the director, was a huge fan of Sleepaway Camp, so it was definitely more of an homage than just a blatant ripoff.
I can see that. Yeah, regardless of what I think about James Wan's like horror movies and stuff, I know he's a big fan. So I can take that as an homage for sure.
Well, I was thinking about that because I think Insidious is a Blumhouse movie. And the Blumhouse logo, because I tried watching a couple of movies. I traveled recently and I tried to watch a couple of movies on the plane, neither of which were very good. But one of them was a Blumhouse movie. And the opening logo is all just a pastiche of references to other horror movies. Oh, like funny. You have twins in a hallway. One of them is wearing like, it looks like a mask almost that would be in The Purge, but like it's very shining like. So it's just this like, hey, here's all these movies that we didn't make, but hey, aren't they cool?
Yeah.
So that sort of fits in the whole Blumhouse thing.
Yeah, we have cred. Watch our movies.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's just get right to the what's the best kill of the series. This one's interesting to me because there are so many not non sequitur kills, but non-traditional kills, as we've talked about. These are more like interesting in the ideas, if not so much the execution, as we've talked about too. But they're original ideas, if nothing else. There's the bees. I do like just the classic, even though the most basic one, the slasher in the shower in the first one, just because it's gnarly to watch that knife go down the back. That was a really well done effect. The giant pot makes me laugh every time I think about it. So that's worthy right there. Note, those are all in the first film, not in part 2 and 3. I am trying to think of ones from 2 and 3, but what are some of the standout kills to both of you?
For me, the tall pot in 1 is just so ridiculous that I really like that one. For 2, just the absolute speed that Angela kills that guy and then takes his face to become Leatherface for that one.
Right.
A salute to that. But probably my favorite kill in 2 is the whole bit where she's going to kill the girl for talking too much. Or no, she's going to kill the girl that figured it out. Dana, I think her name is, that figured it out. And she's just walking around the room, like trying out different things to see what.
Oh, yes.
That bit was great. And in 3, I don't know why, but this is what comes to my mind when I think of Sleepaway Camp now. The bit in part 3 where she raises the girl up the flagpole and drops her. It's not like that impressive a kill, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
I just like that bit so much.
Of course, I always think of the physics behind that. I think she would.
That her head would just explode at like 5 feet off the ground, but it works for me.
Yeah, I wish they could put that gore shot back into the movie.
No, it always goes back to the outhouse scene, because that's probably one of the biggest reasons I would show that movie to people.
Yep. That's pretty jarring, that one.
And when you had your guest on, they talked about it being too slooshy sounding, and it's definitely a lot thicker down there than liquid.
Right. Yeah, and there is something, if I remember, like it was a little bit just because that's one, like there's no music. She's just like shoving her down in there, and
it's pretty retracted.
The victim's reaction to it, to me, was like a little bit more disturbing than just simply like get down in that hole.
Yeah. No, it's one of the more brutal ones, I think, of part 2. A little bit less fun, but still a cool kill.
Yes. This could definitely dovetail us into where you always saw the series going, but we always like to talk about if they were to make Sleepaway Camp 6, what should they do? Would it be a reboot, remake? Would it continue the story? I've been thinking about it a little bit, and I would love to see Felicia Rose come back, of course, and I want her to hunt down Aunt Martha. I want it to be a Angela versus Martha. She's going in for her revenge, so we get more of flamboyant Aunt Martha, almost like Disney villain dialed up to 11. Usually I do like those kind of characters to be kept in their lane, to add like extra like kind of pepper to the whole thing. But I'm not holding anything sacred here for Sleepaway Camp Part 6. But so I'm just saying, like, dial her up, put her in more of it. Maybe she's doing like a camp for like arts and crafts camp or something like that.
Something innocuous.
Yes. So and Angela ends up killing her way through the camp, and there's a showdown with her and Martha. That's
sort of like Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Let's go back and finish Mother Superior.
Yep.
Gotta go do that. All
right. I like that.
Aunt Cruella and it becomes Cruella, basically.
Of course. Yeah.
Becomes bringing down the corporation type
Yeah,
of
all these camps have gotten so corporate, man.
Right.
Like that kind of thing.
Maybe Aunt Martha has a gender, like a conversion camp now,
right,
or something like that.
Yeah.
She's
franchised.
Yeah, because there's part of me that absolutely, I like the first one. I liked Felicity Rose. I'd like to see more of that. But there's part of me that does want an Elseworlds Angela, that does want the Pamela Springsteen, just more ridiculous. As we talked about in part 3, how it seemed like she'd kind of lost the juice of what she was even about in terms of like even enjoying camp anymore. But her trying to find something else to fit into and it not working out and then just killing everybody. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Or coming up with a dumb way of having both of them be on screen together. Like, I mean, it wouldn't,
a portal opens.
Yeah, or it's just
multiverse.
Yeah, one of them.
It's the end of Avengers, and all these Angelas come out.
one of them is just like, oh well, you were the long lost like other brother,
right?
Who was for it? I don't know. Like this franchise to me is so kind of like off the rails at this point that it doesn't matter. And I would just be happy to watch it.
Like Angela in the Sleepaway Camp, that story happened in New York. Angela in the Sleepaway Camp 2, that's New Jersey. They were just happening parallel to each other. Then it becomes like a Parent Trap, where Aunt Martha had this second other family. She did the exact same thing too.
Oh, yes. Secret families, right?
Yeah.
She just kind of did that to a few different people. Always called him Angela.
What a psychopath.
Or they pull an ending like Friday the 13th, where the sibling didn't actually die in the lake and leaps out.
Yeah.
There you go. Style.
Yeah, I'm the real Angela.
Right.
Which is, kind of what Hiltzik was going for in part 5, that Angela never died.
Right.
It does not. I'm still angry about that because it doesn't make any sense.
And I assume, Matthew, you know where you want the series to go. Maybe you knew very long time ago. So now tell us where you saw it going after part 3. You said it was going to pick up right there, kind of like a Halloween 2 type of deal.
Yeah, I can sort of give you the little bullet points of what I had written about it.
Yeah,
because basically after the ambulance ride, she's able to hijack that thing, crash to the local airport.
Yes,
and of course leaves that as a fiery mess, so they can't identify anybody in there, and she's able to commandeer a pilot and his private airplane and clearly fly all the way from New York to Ohio to because she wants to track down Marcia, the final girl from part 3.
Okay, nice.
And of course, keep in mind, this is all from the mind of a 16-year-old.
Yep, of course, yep.
That's ideal, frankly.
Right, yes.
And since it's been established that Angela is now a master of disguise, now she's able to take on the identity of another camper, because we come to find out that Marcia is basically going there for training to become a counselor herself. Just, for college credits.
Mm-hmm.
Angela basically infiltrates the camp that Marcia's going to, which in this instance is an all-girls camp. Killings ensue. Not a whole lot going on there, but...
Did you have a favorite kill that you wrote up? Or did you get to that point of detailing them?
Culminates, there's a lumber mill nearby. And, of course, a big disused circular saw blade that someone, goes down the track into.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Nice and rusty.
Dudley Do-Right style, love it.
Right.
No, I like that. I like that element of the Angela being the master of disguise. And they kind of tried to bring that back in 5 a little bit with her in return with the disguising as the sheriff. But I think that could be really fun, because then you could go either way with that, where it becomes either like part 2 and part 3, where it's just Angela is this seemingly unstoppable force that's just killing people, or the sort of more classic whodunit style of like the original Friday the 13th or like Sleepaway Camp, where it's which one of these campers is Angela?
Right. Yeah. And my gosh, you were so ahead of the curve with Master of Disguise, considering like, were you upset when part 5 came out and you were like, hey, I wrote that when I was 16.
Not particularly. And for whatever odd reason, I actually didn't see that twist coming. A lot of people saw it from miles away. And I was like, oh, huh. Okay.
I think I just saw the rubber nose a couple of times, and it could very well be, like high definition viewing experiences these days. Right. And I was like, that beard and that nose look a little suspicious. And I didn't think about it until late in the movie. Because I kept waiting for Angela to show up. And so I put it together. I was just like, oh, okay, under the makeup there.
it's funny what you can miss and what you'll pick up on sometimes.
Mhm.
But then I see like that person's nose looks weird. I bet they're the murderer.
Yeah.
You know?
Take that, weird nose people.
You're on notice.
Okay, so I like the travel aspect. I like going to Ohio for sure. And the whodunit. Would you know that it's Angela the entire time, or would it be kind of a reveal?
Correct. We know the whole time because we've followed her from the very beginning.
Okay, cool.
Just a reign of terror.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. And did you write any 16-year-old one-liners in there that she had developed by that point?
Not that I can recall, unfortunately.
Damn.
dang.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, any 16-year-old that's writing their own sequels to I love the fact that it was not a sequel to the first one. It was a sequel to the third one. But you must have seen part 3 by then, obviously. So you're just kind of continuing the franchise in your own pen.
Yeah, the continuing adventures
of Angela. How did it end? Does Angela get away, or is she finally killed?
She does actually finally get killed because of the final confrontation in the lumber mill, which, of course, mystically catches on fire. And
obviously
she gets crushed under burning timbers. Marcia escapes, which will lead into a part 5.
Uh-oh, there you go.
Yeah. So it is Marcia versus Angela at the end in your manuscript.
Yes, this is, of course, before I understood that the final goal isn't supposed to, go into the sequels. It's supposed to be like, one final goal.
Right.
Well, I mean, you can always bring them back.
Mm-hmm.
They have. I was hoping that somehow that Angela would be split in half by the Saw thing, and then there'd be 2 Angelas.
Ooh, there we've got 2
because
Angelas.
that would make sense. Now, are you still writing stuff? Do you still write?
In general, just not published yet. Maybe this will inspire me.
Yeah. Get back to it.
Does Sleepaway Camp find its way into your other works?
Not currently.
Not yet. Yeah.
I'm writing a legal thriller where they all go to camp.
Right.
As a team building exercise.
Yes. So as we say on this show, how far away from Baghead do we get in this series? And that's a little bit tricky on this one because there's no Angela in space, right. That's the easy go-to. But these are all somewhat formulaic. Can you even count The Survivor? Because I guess you could say that one because it's barely a movie.
Right.
Part 5 doesn't really issue the formula either. But I guess you could go. I guess that would be my vote if I had to, because there's not even really an Angela in that movie.
Yes.
From a structure point of view.
If from the intent of the author, from Hiltzich's intent, it being actually Angela and not Peter Angela, or I'm sorry, it being original Angela versus Angela, that doesn't make sense. But just watching the movie, it's Angela. And so that's still kind of the same. Whereas, then there's the Elseworlds Angela, the Pam Springsteen Angela, which is just its own, just crazy manic sort of fun kind of thing. So it splits. It makes that split pretty early on with the Pam Springsteen one in part 2. And then so it's kind of tough to figure out how far away it ever got because there have been 2 parallel tracks this whole series.
Right.
Though we didn't have a Goes to Space, we did have a Takes Manhattan briefly with her time in New York.
That's true. Actually true. So maybe not the entire movie, but yeah, part 3 does go into the city, and that by far and away is the furthest away.
Right. Yes. I mean, she is technically in Manhattan about the same amount of time Jason is in Jason Takes Manhattan.
Right.
So it does count. She still is in Manhattan.
And she is just so blatant about her killing that too. Just like running someone down with a garbage truck.
But I said it already, but I'm going to say it again. Just that I love that, I'm going to dress exactly like them, have this big, exacting, very intricate plan, and then hit them with a car.
Yeah.
I always love that stuff.
Right.
But I think thematically it basically stayed true. I think that part 2 and part 3, like we talked about, really just eschewed the whole gender element from it and went, nah, it's fine. It's Angela. And then I think part 5 even forgot about it for the most part.
Sure.
So I think those letting Angela just be Angela, I think that was probably the furthest away it got in that regard.
It was funny on these rewatches. Something that never occurred to me was that she didn't like going into water because of the accident when she was a child. I always assumed it was because body issues, and she didn't want her figure to be revealed.
Oh, that I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I always just took it as that, but that's also watching it with that at the forefront of my mind since I knew the twist and whatever. But yeah, I didn't consider the accident trauma part of it, which makes total sense because after that, I would not want to go back in the water either.
Right. And does she get close to the water in part 2 at all? That's like where she's kind of like fishing with the kids. That's
in part 3 is where she's fishing because she catches the mask from part 2.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Never in any kind of real. I don't actually in part 2. I don't know if she's even close to the water at all.
She refused when TC was hitting on her.
Oh, right. Yeah. TC wanted to go hang out at the pool.
And those the tip patrol had to knocked a bucket of water on her. Probably very triggering.
Yeah, there you go. That's a double whammy. Which, yeah, I guess, I forgot about this character, but TC's hair, I'd like to see come back. I'd like to see, I would see more. And maybe I'll write some fan fiction about TC's hair.
Right.
John Tesh.
Yeah. Right. This is about the point where we reveal how many kills were in the total franchise. And John, I think we once again forgot to lay out at the beginning.
We totally did.
Yeah, it's going to happen. But I did count them up again today, and I got a grand total of 54, which is pretty good considering it's 4 movies, and I did not count The Survivor. Obviously,
right, yeah.
It's the outlier. But parts 2 and 3 have pretty high body counts.
Yeah, she just runs through people in that one.
Yeah. So that clearly, like, they weren't worried about a mystery or anything. Let's just show Angela rampage through the woods and take people out, even if it is simply beating people with a log. Okay, there's another favorite character I'd love to come back. What's his name?
Yep, that classical character we all know and love. The guy whose name I can't remember.
That old funny guy.
Was that Marvin or
Mr. Playboy Belt Buckle?
Playboy Belt Buckle guy who humped the air and wiggled his eyebrows. And
Michael J. Pollard.
Michael J. Pollard. I'd like to see him come back, even though he was murdered. But did we see his body? No.
I mean, no, I don't think so. I don't think specifically, but yeah, I think, she just beat the tar out of him. So in theory, he could still be floating around somewhere.
Right.
As Herman.
Yeah. Herman. Yeah. He crawled into the lake or something like that. It comes out later. But yeah, I love that guy. But 54 big deaths in this series, which ain't bad for, 4 films. So especially when they were losing budget constantly.
Well, losing budget and starting to fight the MPAA a bit. So, but they still got it done.
I think that's going to do it for Sleepaway Camp. Anything else we want to add at the end here?
Overall pretty fun. I think, like the attempts to revive it so thus far have not been very successful from an enjoyment standpoint, but they got a couple of movies made out of it. So if you want 80 slashers, this is a solid entry. I think the first one is a more special movie, but I think 2 and 3 are just goofy and 2 fun. Is really fun. Yeah.
And the further away from him, I have not done this, but I think it would be funny to go back and listen to my reaction after having just seen the movie and now having more daylight between them. I tend to go, that was kind of fun because I remember the best parts, or I remember like how it made me feel. And now 2 and 3, I'm like, that was kind of goofy fun.
Well, I think also because having been in a lot of hot weather, thinking about these movies, although they're ostensibly summer camp movies, they shoot them like towards the end of summer, like part 3 in particular. You can see some brown foliage and stuff like that. That it seems cool and nice there. I'm like, I can't wait for fall. So I think that's coloring it right now too. That's true. And I can't wait till it's Sleepaway Camp season again.
Yeah,
that's one of the things I love about part 3 was how they had to film it during the autumn. So you just got that slightly changing of the leaves.
Yeah.
The best time to go to summer camp.
All right, Matthew. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Where can the people find you if you want to be found?
Well, I just started a YouTube channel where I'm basically drumming out in nature. So you watch too many horror movies, maybe a little bit relaxation involved. Just check me out on Drumming About.
Nice. Drumming About. And what is the channel again? What's the concept behind it?
Basically taking various drums out, places in nature, maybe around town, just random drumming goofiness sometimes here and there.
So like, are you talking like a full trap set? Or are you talking just like a couple of bongos or like or does that change?
It'll change, but mainly hand drums.
Cool. Well, make sure you check that out. And you can find us in all of the regular places, Blue Sky, Instagram, email us at thismayhurtabit@gmail.com. But before we sign off, it is custom to mention what we are going to be tackling next. And I think if everything aligns correctly, we're going to jump into Warlock next. The 3 Warlock films. I need to get a box set of those if I can swing that. But otherwise, I think they're all on Amazon Prime if you watch stuff there. And, you know, knowing these movies, they're probably on Tubi as well.
Yeah, they're going to be moving like anything else streaming. They jump from place to place. So
right.
Get them on physical if you can.
Yes, of course. So have you seen Warlock, Matthew?
Yeah, I've never seen the Warlock, so that's going to give me another chance.
Perfect. Yeah, I've only seen the first one, so I'm looking forward to digesting the sequels as well. Thanks again for joining us, Matthew. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you ever find those old notebooks and you didn't burn them or anything like that, feel free to type them up and post them. I think everybody would like to see those.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for watching Sleepaway Camp with us, and fire up those Warlocks, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
This has been a Caretaker Press production. It was produced by James Strayer and edited by John C. Myers. Logo by Ethan Kimberling and music by Michael Arthur Holloway, who you can find on Bandcamp. Follow us on Instagram at thismayhurtabitpod and email us at thismayhurtabitpod@gmail.com. Give us a 5-star review over on your favorite podcast app, and we'll see you next time.